September 67 the Ro80 was launched, and we're here celebrating the 50th anniversary from that date. There's one taking place in Neckarsulm in Germany where the cars were made. That's taking place in October. But there's nothing taking place over here, and it's something I thought about sort of 18 months ago really, that I wanted to do. Wanted something here to mark that event, you know, mark that anniversary. And decided, well, we've got quite a big garden here. There's not that many of them, so why not do it here? I didn't get round to actually counting them all, but there were a good number here. I think something sort of around the 25, 30 mark, which I don't think in recent times I've never seen more than sort of 2 or 3 Ro80s together at any meeting. So I was very pleased with that. I felt that was quite an achievement. And it's something I always look forward to, just to see loads of Ro80s, you know, in convoy. Sort of, you look in your rearview mirror and that's all you can see behind you. That's all you can see in front, and I wanted to do something like that here as well. According to the How Many Left website, there's about 37, or I think it is, that are taxed. There's a similar sort of amount which are sawned, and there's also some cars which are under the radar because they've been off the road since before that came into effect, the sawn thing. But with the amount of cars that we had here, sort of around the 25, 30 mark, I think we have a good proportion of the cars that are actually left on the road here. But the number is growing a bit because there's quite a few cars that people are restoring and putting back on the road, which aren't accounted for in those figures. It's just so rewarding to drive. I love the sound of the engine. I like the power delivery of the engine. It still drives like a modern car in comparison to, you know, anything else of that era. It totally exceeds people's expectations when they drive one of what a car that age is going to be like. And they're really quite wowed by how advanced it is. Also like the fact they're so easy to work on. You know, modern cars, you get under the bonnet and you can't get at everything. Everything's awkward. On a Ro80, you can get at everything you need to with no problem. I do think it's a beautiful shape. I mean, it was the fact that the Ro80, that the rotary engine is so compact, that enables it to sit so low in the front of the car, which enabled them to get that low bonnet line and high boot line, which became sort of synonymous of later vehicles. I wanted to get some cars prepared to be able to, you know, have here some cars of my own, like the blue one behind us. That's been off the road since 1980. And there's a red one over there which has been off the road similar time, and I just wanted to have a few available really for me to drive and a few other people if they want to. The orange car behind me, Andreas, he's come from Austria. We had another guy here from Stuttgart in Germany, and a guy called Mark from New Zealand who's flown over for the event, and I lent him one of my cars to use whilst he's been here.
I bought the first one to restore in 2005, and this is the third one which I have restored then. We drive a lot with these cars because it's a very comfortable car to drive, and it makes fun to see what they have done in the early year on 67, which was when the car was on the market. What kind of car they have produced for a small company like NSU. This is the 50th anniversary of the market time from the Ro80. So in September 1967 it was presented at the EAA in Frankfurt, and it was a very fantastic show there to see a car like this in a time where all the other cars are old-fashioned from the form and styling and technical side.
It's my third. I had one of the first in England a very long time ago, about 50 years ago. Then another one, and after I sold my Wankel Spider, I wanted to back into an NSUs, and Phil offered me this one. I think it's one of the prettiest cars ever made. And I love the rotary engine too. I think they're a brilliant idea, and all the old aggro with the rotary engine has been put out of the way. All the problems have been conquered. I drive this thing all the time, and I hardly ever see another one, and here I am with about 30 of them. It's quite incredible to me. A few months ago, the DVLA said there's only 28 registered in the United Kingdom. I gather that's gone up to about 35 now, largely due to Phil. And there's more are coming out of garages and so on.
When I was young, I suppose I was 9 or 10, my uncle was one of the few Ro80 owners in New Zealand, and I just loved the look of the car. And I remember specifically being in the back of the car on rather quite an exciting drive for a couple of hours, and I loved it. The main reason was I got to know Phil Blake when I was looking for a car, and he's been very helpful as I've rebuilt my car. He's very knowledgeable and he's helped me a lot. And when I found out that this event was happening, I thought, well, it's a great opportunity to meet Phil and also all those other wonderful people who own Ro80s.
It was very good to see that every vehicle here, really, with the exception of one, had the original NSU Ro80 engine in. There was a time when that wouldn't have been the case, but now everyone they want that, originality and the sound of it and everything, and yeah, they're all running their proper engines these days.